Making the Cut. I'm Mr. Controversy. We're here live at H&J's Barbershop. I got my special guest right here, Big Juggernaut. Got Big Google over here. And today's topic, we're talking about the NBA age limit rule. Should the NBA change the rule of letting young players come in the NBA from college? What you think, baby?
I think they need to change it and actually make it a little older. I don't think 1 year is good enough for different reasons, but you look at it as for a maturation perspective, kids coming in right out of high school basically, because really you're just a freshman. You coming in and you just don't have the necessary skill level, the necessary talent. Plus, from the perspective of the game itself, college basketball, what it used to be, the NCAA tournament, how the tournament used to be the big dance, how it used to be that all-time thing where you just wondering who's that Cinderella team, who's that team is just going to be dominating, the UNLVs, the Syracuses from back in the day. Plus, it also kind of like takes pressure off of coaches from having to worry about winning. For instance, you got a Kentucky and the John Calipari with recruiting the #1 freshman class where you got the first, second, and third ranked players in the nation all going to one university. And now it kind of like broadens the perspective and kind of like balances the game out. It allows other coaches to now know that, okay, out of the top 5 recruits, I got #3 in the nation. And now it kind of makes the game seem more to where it's like back on that competitive level. Michael Jordan against Lynn Bias, Ralph Sampson against Hakeem Olajuwon type of Patrick Ewing, all of that versus just being one and done. And now this coach has this pressure on him trying to win, you know, with scrubs, with players that just, you know, really can't get it done.
You got to think about it like this. One NFL executive said it perfect. He said when these guys come into the league, they don't have the fundamentals. They can go one-on-one. They've had all the shine that they had in the AAU. These coaches in the AAU have blown their heads up. These talent executives and these other people have come around. Even with shoe deals, you can get a shoe deal. You can go to the league. Man, you're the best. But then when you think about it, how many Jonathan Benders are out there? That guy went 5th overall. That set Indiana back. But then you got to think about it when they go to these universities and when their weaknesses are exposed. They're talking about Andrew Wiggins falling down now. He was the pride candidate coming out. Toronto let go of Rudy Gay just to get it. Then it backfired because they started playing better after Rudy Gay left. So then you got to think about it. What's more important? Is the coaching more important? Is the NBA developing this talent, getting their hands on these guys more important? What about the D-League? You got to think about it. You have to invest in these guys. These guys have changed the franchise. All these teams tanking right now for what? You go back to the college side, what's the incentive? That guy's one and done. There's not even a tie to the university. Do you really care Derrick Rose went the way he went? Right. Do you care? Yeah. These guys don't come back. Is the education guaranteed if they don't make it? No, they bought.
Well, I'm going to take it to another level. I understand what you're saying. I feel you. You know what I'm saying? You miss all those great matchups. But you, like you said, as far as the team trying to invest, and you bring them in, next thing you know, they fall back. But let's look at it like this. If the rule was put in and say, okay, we need these players to go to college, and hey, get your education, but you tell them to have to go for 1 year, what's the whole point? They go for their first semester, they go to classes, play ball, knowing they're gonna be a top lottery pick. They don't go to class after that. They drop out. So what's the whole point of the rule? If that's the case, you might as well let them come in from high school because they're not really getting nothing from college. So if that's the case, then either, if you're saying, okay, we want them to go to school and want them to get an education, so why don't you up the rule? Why don't you have them stay 2 to 3 years like football? That way, you know they're getting at least an associate's degree, you know, and like he said, now you help the colleges as far as the NCAA tournament, you know, the maturation process, it goes up. They learn how to play ball. But if you're saying, let's go for 1 year, your freshman year, then you come to school, then you come to the NBA, it doesn't make sense. Look at Brandon Jennings, for instance. Instead of going to college, he went overseas, because the rule says you have to be at least 19 years old or play professional ball, play 1 year of professional ball. So he went overseas, skipped college, went overseas, played 1 year, next year he's in the NBA. So it's like the rule, what's the point of it? It doesn't make sense. It's more political to me. That's what I think. But hey, I just don't. I think they should either up the rules, say, okay, we're gonna have it for 2 to 3 years, make them stay, or we just say, you know what, let them come out of high school.
One thing about it, if you up the rule, I have 2 names for it, and then I put that to the NCAA, college football. Jadeveon Clowney, that's one, and Maurice Claret. And you know why I say that? They had to be in that rule. Maurice Claret, when he came out, he was at Ohio State, he was the man. If he would have left, he'd have been drafted and he'd been fine. He had to stay out. I can't go. Why can't I go? He's fighting. He had to stay out. Mike Williams, the same thing. What happened, Mike? They weren't ready. So then when you think about it, Jadeveon Clowney, he sat up there and basically tanked his season because he already knows that he's going #1.
Right.
What is that? Does that help South Carolina or does it hurt South Carolina? That's what you got to think about. So I say put the investment on the NBA. Scout these people. You see what I'm saying? If this is going to be the face of your franchise, you need to know what you're getting into. You need to know the background of this guy. You need to know, okay, if he can't go to this level, how can I develop him? You have to think about it. You talking about Andrew Wiggins, the guy on his team may go higher than him.
Exactly.
The 7-footer. And the 7-footer just been playing for 2 years.
But it lets you know also when these kids coming in with these top rankings and all of that, you got to look at Andrew Wiggins, for instance. He's more so a scorer in transition, more so backside rebounds versus being a franchise player where we coming down and he's getting the ball first. In other words, the offense doesn't have to run through Wiggins. So where did he get all of this hype? Where do we get all of this of shoe commercials and shoe contracts if he declares when you stop and look at it and his stock has really gone down because you really hadn't seen this kid, you know, be this quote-unquote franchise player that they're making him to be. If you make him stay and get matured in certain levels and develop in his weaknesses. For instance, if you look at it since 2000, I mentioned this before, if you evaluate since 2000 and above, any kid right out of high school or first year out of college, who would be able to play in the 90s away from LeBron James and be dominant like they are now based on just 1 year of either college and or right out of high school? You can't name nobody else, but Dwight Howard wouldn't be effective based on coming out playing against Hakeem Olajuwon, Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, and the 7-footers. The team, the fundamentals of the game were in place, so now we've lost that because now the game is like Brooklyn Nets, depending on anytime you depended on a 1 or 2 to be the scoring. In other words, Darren Williams, point guards now are becoming the man. So now the fundamentals has completely gone. How does that make a fundamentally sound father, for instance, be able to raise his child and say this is the position that you do? Nowadays in Little League, everybody, whoever get the ball, just shoot. Anybody dribble. Big get the ball, take it all the way down. He got the rebound. He's dominating in Little League. We're following this of what the NBA has allowed. They have allowed it because, is it a demand from the fans? Is it because we want to see the highlights, we want to see the alley-oops? Is it that really? The best alley-oop combination was Gary Payton and Sean Kemp, clearly, but the fundamentals were all intact and everybody understood their position, everybody understood their role. So therefore, you got to take the pressure and put on the NBA to say, if you're going to come here and say now, this is the rules, or you're going to allow this, start showing now that you're interested more than just the kid's athletic talent. Start letting them know, look, part of the stipulations is you got to get your associate's degree, or you got to take some courses because now we want to develop front office personnel versus just showing you we just want you and your money. If you do not change the rules to benefit the player overall as a human being, then you're going to continue to have greedy individuals that just pimping the system and players' mindset that says, hey, sure, I'm going for mine. They offer me this.
That's all it's about. I mean, if that's the case, so why don't they do this? Here's an idea. Why don't you have the D-League? Okay, it's like baseball. You know how baseball with the farm leagues. They draft them out of high school, but we're going to put you in a farm league. Sometimes it takes some cats like, what, 4 or 5 years just to get out. You know, so we're going to take you out of high school, okay, but you have to go to the D-League. You have to play at least 2 years, get developed. If we think you're developed, hey, like you said with Jonathan Bender, he didn't do anything. I mean, Kwame Brown, is he the worst pick ever? I mean, come on, this dude, has he ever scored over 10 points per game in his whole career? I mean, so get a D-League if you want to do that, because again, 1 year, it's not making any sense. You say it's, hey, we want our kids to go to school. That's not working. Hey, we want our kids to go ahead and get mature, you know, and learn fundamentals. That's not working. You think about it, you look at Calipari. Calipari, basically, every year seems like he has freshmen. If they're not number one, they're in the lottery, they're in the top 5 or the lottery picks.
Exactly.
So, therefore, everybody's looking at that, okay, I'm going to get my baby there, let him go there, play that 1 year, get that $90 million contract from Nike. Blue chips, that's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, but then, that's perfect, right? That's the development part that we're talking about, right? But at the end of the day, is the NBA going to invest like that? You gotta look at it, man. These people, this is a business. Those picks go up, those picks go down. They trade it like commodities.
Look, in other words, let's ask this question. If the NBA is supposed to be presenting a positive image, we promote a friendly, family-oriented environment, what are you saying now when you know now that this kid, just for example, not calling out no in particular names or whatever, he's out of the hood, out of the ghetto, mama worked 3 jobs all her life. What do you actually believe is inside of this person's character? You giving the kid all of this money. It's automatic. You gotta now start working on the development of this kid. You gotta start, whether it's the NBA Developmental League, you work your way up. But at the same time, you gotta put people. They said that Kwame Brown, in other words, they came and got him for a team. They was about to leave. He got on the bus with a warm-up suit. They was like, "What you doing?" He said, "I don't have no more clothes." They was like, "Where your clothes at?" All of his clothes just piled up, all his suits in the middle of the floor in his penthouse. And so, how are you developing kids and maturing them and growing them into young, nice, positive role models?
And see, that's the problem. You don't have any mentors in the game anymore because the game is young. I mean, the average age probably is what, 26, 27?
Remember, Oklahoma had a team full of everybody under 25.
So how are you supposed to develop, or how are you supposed to mature in life? That's what this whole rule is about. That's why I say the rule is bogus. It's all politics. It's all for show. It's just to make people smile, make certain people shut up, don't say anything. That's all it is. So we're gonna wrap it up. Juggernaut, what you think, baby? Do you agree? What?
Look at
what you want to do?
I look at it like this. They have to invest in these kids. Perfect example of what he was talking about, Sean Kemp. Sean Kemp came out of high school. Gary Payton, he went to Oregon and had that season. The guy that was throwing him the ball, the other guy, he didn't have to do nothing but put it in the hole. That's how it is. They knew exactly what was going on. The NBA talent, you have to know how you want to build your team, and you have to know who's coming to your team. Just like he said, you can have blue chips all day, but if you don't know these guys' background and their motivation, you won't know who you're getting to their own court and on your team.
I would say yes, change the rules, up it up a little bit. If college football players have to wait for 3 years to be out of high school, let's make it the same for college basketball players. I think you're going to see a better overall development of players. I think you're going to see a well balance of the game itself versus just knowing every year a Kentucky or a Duke or a Michigan State is going to be the front runners. I think you'll now be able to allow other kids. We will start now seeing more seniors get drafted, more becoming better leaders and entering into the NBA and putting a standard that this is what we set versus, hey, in other words, I put my dues in, I've earned my money, I've earned the right to earn $3 to $5 million a year. I've showed that, hey, I can handle it, I'm mature enough, I've been a leader for 3 years on a basketball team, and then overall, you take the pressure off of coaches. Coaches having heart attacks, strokes, all because of the pressure of winning.
Well, hey, I'll say again, I think they should get rid of the rule. Either get rid of it or up it. Like I said, if you're going to have it for 1 year, you might as well let these kids come out of high school, make their money. Their family's going through, you don't know what their family's going through. They need the money. Let them get the money. Or, let's say this, go ahead, we're going to say you got to play at least 2 years. Or get the D-League involved. That's what you have that league for, it's development league. So, let's have them, everybody's pick, that's a rookie or before, a rookie or after, I say, I messed that up, dog. I messed that up. So I say this, if you're a freshman or a sophomore, let's do this. Put them in the D-League, let them progress, let them mature, let them play for at least 2 years, then bring them out. That's what you have the D-League for. So, again, we're here at H&J's Barbershop. I'm Mr. Controversy. I got my big man, Mr. Juggernaut. I got Big Google right here. We'll see you later. We out.